I believe everything is ready to go. So, welcome everyone to this short workshop on how to use the fast research outline and also how to use Zotero to optimize writing a research paper. So, we're going to just jump in. I'll start with the research outline and then segue into how to use the Zotero into the research outline. Anyone has used the research outline, the fast research outline before? Okay, so for the people who have never used it, you can find it on the Appropedia page. If you go to the Appropedia page, you just type in fast outline and launch. And then you have the fast paper writing here. And if you go down, you have here on number 5 the fast outline. So whenever you're going to write a paper or collaborate on a paper with Dr. Pierce or other people, the very first thing you want to do is to start with this outline. So I believe I have downloaded it here. Let me open it. And the way it is designed is a template, so you can either edit it in OpenOffice or Microsoft Office. So here I have the Microsoft Office version. So I'll just go through it line by line to see what each of the elements correspond to. Here we can see the very first thing at the top is the target journal. So this where it says the target journal is where you choose the journal that you want to publish in. One way that I do it, if I have really no clue about where I want to publish, is that I refer to my lit review notes. So you go to your lit review. We'll see a little bit later on Zotero how you can sort through your lit review in Zotero. You go to your lit review, you sort through it, and you look at which journal has most of your lit review been published in, and that journal is most probably one that your research is very suitable for. For example, let's just take some example journal, because here you'll see that there are different information that you have to input: the name of the journal, the impact factor or site score, and the URL of author guide. So if I go here, let's take renewable and sustainable energy review, for example. uh, Renewable and sustainable energy reviews. So you just click on it here, and if for most of the journal, that information will be in about. So if you go to about and then I go to aims and scope, if I go to aims and scope here, we can see the site score on top here, 28.5, and they provide both. Some journal provide only one or the other, but this one provides both. So what I will do, let me split my screen into two. What I will do is come here and write renewable and sustainable energy reviews. Then go here, impact factor. I do 28, no, impact factor is 16.7, 16.8. And site score is 28.5. Then for the journal, you go here, you should find the guide for authors here. Most of the journal will have, or all of the journal will have a guide for authors. So you just go there, then you copy the link here that you paste into URL of author guide. So for the alternative journal, those are like the journal that, like, let's say you sort through your lit review. The one that pops up the most will be your first. The second most will be your second. The third most will be your third. So I'm just taking some random examples here just to show you how to go through it for different journals. If I take, for example, MDPI Energies, that is one where we do publish a lot. If I go to MDPI Energies, we can see here, for example, they just have it lined up for us here, the impact factor and the site score. So same thing that we do. Uh, Alternative journal, MDPI energies, then impact factor, we put in 3.252. So they didn't put, oh, site score is 5. They have both. And then URL for author guides. Similarly, we can see it should be, let's see, energies, aims, editorial board, instruction for authors. It is here. So we can go there, copy it, and then paste it here. And let's do, someone has a specific journal that they want to do. Let's do IEEE. If we go to IEEE, um, the, for example, for IEEE, they are a publisher, not necessarily a journal. So you can search the name of the journal here that they will just pop out for you. So let's try IEEE journal. Oh, wait, I'm not in the journal search. Okay, so you browse first, then journal and magazines. And then from here, I can look for journal of photovoltaics. So that's it here. Site score, impact factors here, site scores here. They have some additional information. Then submission, sometimes it's not information for authors. It can be under other names such as submission guidelines. So I can go here, submission guidelines, and then copy it from here. Then I will put it here. So this is IEEE Journal of Photovoltaics. Impact factor is 4.4, and then site score is 7.9. So that is regarding the journals. When we go to the next point, we have the review, the name of the 5 reviewers. So these you do not need to do in your first, when you're first filling it out. This is something that you can do like the second to last thing for the paper because it is not the most important. However, one way also to find out who your potential reviewers can be is to look into your lit review again. Who are the authors that are publishing the most in like your lit review? Those are the author that you would want to review your work and let you know how good you did. The next point is the title. So for the title, like usually just write what you think the title will be. Dr. Pierce will review it. If it's fine, he will like unhighlight it. If it's not, he will update it and still unhighlight it. Then you put your name, the affiliation, your email. These you can find in like all the papers that we've already published, then use that as a template. So one of the most important parts is the introduction. When you start a new project, you really want to do this, especially the introduction part. For me personally, it helps me actually understand my project better. Because sometimes you have a meeting with Dr. POC, throws an idea at you, and it's like now you come back, you're like, what exactly do I need to do again? Then by going through these questions, it's like, okay, gives you more understanding of what you need to do. So for example, why is it important? So that gets you to think why, like, why exactly are you doing what the research type that you're doing? What knowledge you hope to provide? What is your work different or new? And more, and also one important thing is your link to the Appropedia page. One thing here, what is key reference? So like if there is a specific paper that you think this paper is kind of what I'm going to base most of my work on, this is the paper that you want to place here. And when you're reviewing that paper, you really want to review it like in detail to make sure what you're doing is different from what they are doing. Uh, the method part is usually the easy part, like it's what you are doing. So you give like if you're doing an experiment, if you're doing a simulation, or if you're proposing a new theory, what are those? What are the specific variables that you're investigating? If you're using equipment or a software, and also other materials. For the result, you do not need to have result to write this part. You can just like maybe on the paper that is here, like your key reference, maybe you see how the result look like and you want to model your result on how theirs look like. So you can just hand sketch it or maybe take a screenshot, put it there like as a placeholder, be like, this is what my results are going to look like. And next step is a discussion. If you already have an idea of like what you want, what impact you want your paper to have, you can start putting these here as bullet points. And one interesting thing is that for all these, on your very first version, only bullet points. You don't necessarily need to start writing. You just write in bullet points like the type of ideas that you want to put in. And finally, the references. Those are the most tricky part when you're writing the paper if you don't have Zotero, because then you have to do it manually. And once one reference changes, you have to go through your whole paper to make sure you update everything manually. And for my very first paper that I wrote and that I didn't know how to use Zotero, it took me 1 week just to make sure my references, like 1 week constantly working only on the references to make sure they are all in the right place. That's when Zotero comes in to help you out of automating this and making it very quick. But before I go to Zotero, I'm just going to show you some examples of this fast outline of one of the previous paper that we wrote to see how the progress of the paper goes. So what you want to do is once you create your first template, your first version of the paper, you want to give it a name and give it dash version 01 and your initials. So when Dr. Pierce will edit it, or if someone else is working on it and edits it, they will add like the version number and also their name to know exactly who's the last person to edit the paper. So if I open this, for example, you can see here that during the very first run, I put the journals here, no reviewer's name, the title, my name, Dr. Pierce's name, our affiliations. Then in the introduction, like I said, only bullet points. Why is it important? Need to know the environmental impact of foam-based FPV. What knowledge do you hope to provide? So complete an LCA, a water footprint, land use impact, etc. So for this one, I believe I did not have, oh yeah, I did have a key reference. So here, the key reference here is foam-based FPV, another foam-based FPV paper. So, and this is another study that was doing something very similar to what we're doing, but they were using rigid floating platforms while we were using foam platforms. So that was the main difference, and that's the point where you need to emphasize what's different from your work. Then link to my lit review for the materials and methods. Similarly, like just puts definition of the goal and scope of the study. So those are some of the things that I want to do. For the variable to investigate water impact, quantity of energy used during the life cycle, etc. And then here I didn't really know what my result will look like, so I just didn't put anything. And then if I go to the version 2 that Dr. Pierce sent me, you'll see that he started on highlighting some of the things that he agrees with. So he started on highlighting this. He chose the journal. He agreed with the title. So he kind of he removed all the highlights there. In the introduction, he added some more information about what I need specifically to look at, and then he will start telling you you have need to provide references for this or for that, and and so on. And then he will start also adding a little bit more on how you can go with the your methodology if he agrees with it, and like if he has something more that he wants you to look at, he will also put it in here. And then the third version is the one that I did. So here you will see that the format changed because we already chose the journal. We decided to use the template from the journal. So this is also one important step. Most of the journal will have their template that you can download from their website if they have it. And then once you download it and the journal is selected, you want to start like formatting it as the journal wants. So that is what we've done all the way here in this version. And then I started putting some of my results, started putting references, and this is how it looked like in the middle while you were like exchanging more. You'll see that now what he was talking about last time, the track changes. So once you agree on something but like there's just some minor changes to make, instead of using highlights you just use track changes, and those are easier to track. If he agrees with something, he'll delete it, I'll accept, and then we will move on. And by the time you're done, this is like the penultimate version, so the version that I went through just before we submitted. So you'll see that most of the things were done, and there is no almost no highlights, no comments. It's like on my end, it was like I'm ready. Whatever Dr. Pierce changes, he changes, and it's ready to submit. So um, now that we've seen that, I'm just going to jump into Zotero to show you how it works, and then I will jump back onto the template to show you how to use it in your writing. So if there is someone who doesn't have Zotero yet, you can just type in Zotero in your Google uh, research engine, and then it gives you the page. It's open source, it's free. You come here, you just do download. It brings you to this page. This is how to download the software itself for Windows and for different other OS. Then after you've downloaded that, one thing that you also want to download is this Zotero connector if you're using Firefox. This is very helpful and useful because it allows you, if you find a paper on your navigator, to directly save it to your Zotero. Because something that has happened to me multiple times, I've seen a paper, I'm like, this paper is perfect for what I'm doing. Then I didn't save it, and then I came back and I forgot how I found it, and it was terrible. But if you have Zotero, I will show you in a moment how to do that. With one click, you just save it and you have it there. You can get back to it whenever you want. And another thing are the Zotero plugins. It has a bunch of plugins that are very helpful that you can use. Some of the most important ones will be all the way down here. Is the Word and LibreOffice one. So you can install these. Usually for the latest version, when you install it, it should add to your word processor automatically. But if it doesn't, you can download it from here so that you can also do the citation automatically from your word processors. And similarly to what we have here, this installation for Firefox, it exists for other navigators as well. If I go to here and then I just type in Zotero plugin for Chrome, there is a page for it. It comes as an extension. You install it. You can do the same in Chrome, and I believe you can do the same in all the major existing navigators. So once you've installed Zotero, no, not searching for Zotero, open Zotero. Once you've installed Zotero and you're doing things online, you're like searching for papers online, how do you actually add them to Zotero? And there's a couple of different ways depending on what type of reference you have. So let's say you're working and then I'm just going to go through it by type of material. So there's journal articles with different type of different type of identifiers. Then there are web pages, and then there are PDFs, and then there are the ones that you can add manually. So for a journal article, a good place to find journal articles is Google Scholar. I don't know. I'm just going to choose something here, something on PV. So for journal articles, there are a couple places where you can save them from. You can either save them from the publisher's page, you can save them directly from Google Scholar, you can save them from ResearchGate, you can save them from academia. So for this one, this is from Science Direct, which is the Elsevier publishers page. When you come here and when you already have your Zotero plugin installed, you will see this here, this thing here, that is the Zotero plugin. So if let me just, I created this today, but mm, give me a minute. I'm just going to go to my page here. What's the name? I'll look at that later. So once you're in Zotero here, uh, you just click here and then it will tell you that it's saving to Zotero and it will give you an option of where you want to save it in Zotero. So in Zotero, you can actually create folders. If you look at my Zotero previously, you'll see I have multiple folders. So you can create folders for different projects that you're working on. So it's easier to track exactly like where it's easier to group your references by the type of project that you're working on. So if I come here, I have the option of choosing like where I want to put it. It timed out, so it already went away. But since I was already in this folder, it will bring you to the current folder that you have open. So you'll see that it just come in here directly. And it doesn't, if you've saved a paper before, you don't remember whether you have it or not, it's fine. You can double save. Zotero will take care of it for you automatically. So that is when you're saving it directly from the page of a publisher. Another way of doing it is, let's go to ResearchGate. And I don't know, let's just look for something photovoltaics. So this is a paper that someone posted on ResearchGate. You can see here you still have the Zotero sign here now because it's from usually from ResearchGate it sees them as a report. So you can see the sign here change in like article into a small book. You click on it and then you go to your Zotero, you see it appears here. This is the paper I was looking at right now. The third option is directly from academia. So if, well, I'm not signing it. Let's see. Let me log in. Okay, so this is academia, If I go to a paper, an open source 3D printing paper, no thanks. And then you see here, the sign is still here. You can click on it and you go to Zotero. It also automatically updates. So after that, you can download an article directly from Google Scholar. So let's say something agrivoltaics. This is the paper here. So if you have a paper here on Google Scholar, one thing you can do, you click on Cite here. It opens this for you. If you click on EndNote, Zotero will automatically detect that link for you and ask you if you want to save it to Zotero. So if you do OK, this will pop up again and it will download that for you automatically. And let's say that you want to download, you want all these references here to be saved to Zotero at once. You can click, you will see that it shows as a folder here. When you click on it, it will show you all of the papers that it can save. It's tricky though because of how Google Scholar works. They kind of don't want people to scrape their website. So if you try to do this multiple times too fast, it will block you for a certain amount of time. Not indefinitely, but for a certain amount of time, kind of like chill down. And then it will let you back on it after a while. So yeah, if there's a multiple papers that you want to save at once, you just like cross check them. Then you do okay, and then it will do the three of them for you at once. That's the easy part. Then there are web pages. So let's say I don't know, journal, PV magazine, something from PV magazine. So let's say I'm doing something and I found an article on PV magazine that I actually want to get some information from. Then you'll see that now the Zotero thing, it doesn't look like an article, it doesn't look like a book, it looks like this blue thing with a bluer thing beneath. If you click on it, it will still save it for you, but what happens is that now it will save it as a web page. So web page are tricky in the case that not all of them send all of the information to Zotero the way you need them. So sometimes you might have to do some post processing. We will look at that next, but I'm just going to go through the rest of the type, like the PDF ones. Then I will show you how you can just do those manually. So let's say you found a report that's in PDF. You open it, Zotero will show you it's a PDF, but usually it cannot extract information from PDF. So when you click on Save to Zotero, it will save it. Oh, this one is interesting. It will save it, but then if it can, it will retrieve some of the information for you. Sometimes it cannot retrieve the information for you. So here, since it retrieves some of the information for me, what I want to do now is that I want to complete the remaining of the field because not all of the information are here. Some very important information when it's like a journal articles that you want to fill in are the publication, that's like the name of the publisher. So for a report like this, you have to actually read through it. Look at who published it. This one, for example, is a Fraunhofer ISC. So I will just go here and in publication, I will manually write it. I will write. Is this how it's written? Let me double check. Yeah. So I'll just write in manually Fraunhofer ISE. And then if there is no volume, you don't have to fill it out if there is no issue. But at least the number of pages you can by just looking at how many pages the report has. This one has 53. So I can just add it here, 53. And one thing that you might also want to change is, since this is not a journal article but it's a report, you might want to tell Zotero this is not a journal article by clicking item type here and just change it into report. Then it will tell you some fields will be lost. That means report don't need that. You just do okay. Then you'll see here, instead of publisher, we have institution. So I can just write the Fraunhofer institution there instead. So that is how you do it with PDFs. Usually you will have to do it manually. And to do it manually in Zotero, what you do is that you come here, they have this plus sign, you click on it, and then it will ask you what type of material do you want to record. Is it a book? Is it just a document? Is it an article? And then they have more, like if it's a TV broadcast, someone's thesis, I don't know, a standard, a magazine article. So this is how you create your own from an information that you might have from a report. So let's try to replicate this. We can just go here and do, we want to do, where is R? Oh, it's already had it here. So reports, then you will have to file in the title. So I can split my screen into again. So here, I will just say, I can just do copy paste, like the title, photovoltaic report. So the author, usually in reports, you will have to comb through the report to see if they listed their author name. Sometimes they're at the end, sometimes they're at the beginning. If you cannot find any author name, as here, I believe I'm not able to find who the authors are from this document, it's fine. You can just write the, like they said, prepared by Fraunhofer Institute for, so you can just use them as the author name. So you can go here, copy this, and just put it here as like author name, because that's the institute that literally prepared it. If they have a report number, you write it here. If they don't, it's fine. Usually for this type of reports, I will write technical reports if they contain technical stuff, or economical report if they contain economical stuff. So just do technical reports. The place here, it says, it doesn't say, but sometimes you'll have to use your intuition, because this institution is a, I believe it's a German institution, or you can just Google it to see where they are from and write the name, like the name of where they are from there. The institution here is Fraunhofer. You write it, you write the date, the number of pages, and then you go on. So one interesting thing though is whenever you're working with Dr. Pierce, I'm going to go back to the file here. Let me go to this one. No, this one. So once you start working with him, one thing that he will start doing is that he will start like adding a reference for you here to add to your paper. Most papers that are published in peer-reviewed papers have something that they have something that's called that's an identifier, that's called a DOI. So if you have the DOI of a paper, let me just go here and show you. Let's say this one. Let's pick a paper from here. I don't know. Let's see. If I pick a paper from here and I open its PDF, you'll see it should have a DOI here. So sometimes he will send you a paper citation. If it contains a DOI, instead of looking the paper up, you can just copy the, wait, let me go back. Saying it as a link. So you can just copy the DOI here as a text. Just copy it, go to Zotero, click on this icon here just beside the new item icon. Is add items by identifier. So you paste your DOI there. In this case, this dot, I think, it doesn't matter. It will still work. Then you press enter. It will find it for you automatically. Here, it will just add it with everything for you. So if you have the DOI of the paper, even easier. You come to Zotero, you click here, you add it, it does it for you. And what I was talking about before, to create a new folder for your project, is here. You can just do new collection, then you give it a name, and every other citation that you're going to do, you can just select this collection to go in, or also you can copy a paper from another a collection. Let me just do here my new collection. So the new collection is created here. I was in this folder. Let's say there's a paper in this folder that I just will be using here, but I don't want to re-reference it from the website or from the DOI. I just do drag and drop into the new one, and then now it's in the new one. The good thing with Zotero is that if I delete it from the new one, it will still be in the original one. So it's you can delete a folder for a project, but all of the references will still be there for you. Before we go back to the citation on the papers, one important thing that you want to do is to actually create a Zotero account online. You log in, you create an account, like you log in here, create you register here, create an account, and then you come back to your app, and there you should be able to, where is it? Yeah, preferences. So in preferences, you go to sync, and then you can, mine is already linked, you can just link an account. This helps you if for any reason Zotero crashes on your computer, or your computer crashes, you have, it's always like synchronize it to the web, so you still have it on the web. If you download a new Zotero on another computer, you just have to enter into your account again. It will bring you back all of your references, all of your folders. Very helpful. And, exactly. And then after that, let's go back to the papers and see how we can actually use it in our Word files. So um, this is, oh yeah, that is true. Here, preferences. So it should be in site. No, wait. No, wait. Let me see. I did see that today. I should be in site and word processors. So when you go to site here, and then you go to word processors, you can see the plugins for both the Microsoft Word and the LibreOffice. Is for any reason they're not working the way you want them to, you can just click reinstall, and you can reinstall it from here instead of doing it from the website. So this is a, let's say this is a paper that I'm working on. So first thing you want to do whenever you want to cite a paper to Zotero, you want to ensure that it's already running. If it's not running and you ask it to cite, it will tell you Zotero is not running. It will ask you to open it. You open it, you refresh, then it should work. If the plugin is open in my is installed for Microsoft Word, you can see it appear here as Zotero, and then you click on it. It will ask you, you can add, edit a citation, add, edit bibliography. So what I'm going to do is, let me see if I, okay, I think it should work. So you go to, let's say Dr. Pierce give me this citation here that I want to add here. I'm just going to go add edit citation. So first when you go, it will ask you what is the style of citation that you want to use. So this you want to use, if you already selected your journal, you want to start using that. If you have not, one that I will recommend using is the Chicago manual style author date, because if you see in the reference here, in the outline here, Dr. Pierce was saying that if just use author date so that he can, and then do it by alphabetical order. The Chicago manual style author date, that's literally what it does. It cites with for you author date, and then it arrange everything in the reference list alphabetically. So instead of doing it manually, if you don't know your journal, where was I? If you don't know the journal, just choose the Chicago manual style. If you know your journal, look for it. If you cannot find it in this list, go to Manage Styles. It will go back to Zotero. Then you can do Get Additional Styles. Once you go there, it has like 10,427 different journals that you can choose from. So most likely, it already have the format for your journal you're looking for. So I don't know. Let's say you want to publish in American Society of Material Engineering or something. Just type in ASME. My computer decides to work. And then here it is. Oops. ASME, American Society of Mechanical Engineer. And if you want to double check if the citation look like what you want, you can just hover over it. It will give you an example of like how the citation look like. And for example, this is the IEEE version. So yeah, if you don't have one, you can install it from, you can select it from here. So I didn't have that one. So now I select it from there. So now my paper has that by default. Then I can do, oh no. So now it saved it into my citation list. So if I come here, ASME should appear here, American Society of Mechanical Engineers. So I can select it, or I'm going to be going for now with the Chicago manual style just to show you how it appears. So let's choose Chicago manual style, author date, and then you do okay. So now that I've done that, it's going to ask me what do I want to cite. I just need, if you know the author's name, you know how the title of your paper, you just start typing it here. It will show you. For example, this one, this paper here, then one of the authors is Pimentel da Silva. Let's just type in Pimentel. It will pop all the papers that I have with Pimentel in here, and then I can check this one is photovoltaic better than this is here. I just click on it, then I press enter. It will start it from me automatically on the right in the right format. So this is another citation. Let's say I want to add that. Well, I already cited this. I just click on my previous citation, and then I do add edit citation. Then I just add the next one. This one's Clemens, blah, blah, blah. The title is Life Cycle Assessment. So I'm just going to start typing Life Cycle Assessment. Then it's going to pull out everything that is life cycle assessments. Then I'm just going to look for the Clemens one, which is this one. Then you press, it adds to it automatically. So once you do that, one thing that you can do next, let's say you finish adding some citations, you want to put them in your reference. You go to your reference, you just do add edit bibliography, and it will put it for you like so automatically in the right format. And one good thing is this one, it has C and P. So it has it in alphabetical order. It doesn't matter where you cite it or when you cite it in your paper, it will update it for you automatically. So let's say C and P. Let's put something like an author that starts with G, so it's supposed to be in the middle. And let's put that before the C name. So just going to go here. Just going to type G. see what authors come up. GE. Oh, okay. So Gerard and Welton, I select them, I put them here. So I've cited these below, but I cited this before my other citations. So I come down here, automatically it's do the sorting for you. So you don't have, you literally just have to have Zotero do your citation, let it take care of everything for you. Um, and one interesting thing too, let's say you decided to go with a journal at first, then at some point you figure out it was not the right journal, that you want to switch journal. Instead of changing everything manually, you just go here, you do document preferences, then you choose a new journal. Let's say now I want to go to IEEE. Then I do OK. Automatically, it will just do everything for you in the IEEE format. And then you can see up here where I did the citation, IEEE format automatically. So you don't have to do anything else. Um, so yeah, that's it for how to use Zotero. One thing is if you're the primary investigator, the PI on the paper, like you're the first author and you're only all the other person on the paper are only contributing and you but you are the main person working on the paper, you will be the one who will be doing the citations. Usually everyone else will just be sending you maybe the citation of the paper, the title of the paper, and then you add it to your Zotero, you add it here. In case there are multiple paper people adding a lot of references, sometimes that can get tricky. So sometimes Dr. Pierce might ask you to, might ask all of you just to use the Chicago style, so he will be the one to actually do all of their organizations. So yeah, that's what I wanted to present to you guys this afternoon. If you have any questions, feel free.
Anytime if you want to go back and check the paper, you just close up there or right click. So what I do usually is I don't like to save PDFs on my PC because again it restricts where I can use them. If you can right click, it can show you like go to the online source, view online, and it takes you directly back to the journal page.
Any questions at all? That's I don't know if that's good or if that's bad. So I will still be I'm still in the lab all the time. If anyone needs any help, I hope this will help you kickstart.
Another thing I wanted to say, if you save it from the journal page itself, it is better than doing any other things because it automatically populates all the
Hmm.
stuff. Like if you select any paper, it will actually fill the abstract and everything. And if you go to tags, on the left hand side, you can actually see all the tags that Kwame has for all of his papers. But on the right side pane, if you go to
Sure.
tags, you see the basic things that the paper talks about. And then in the folder or all your library, the tags are listed on the left hand bottom.
Here.
So if you select any one of them, it will show you the papers linked to it. You can actually add your own tags. You can add notes to each paper. I would highly suggest making folders for however you choose, but keep it categorized. Don't keep it like 800 papers just in single folder. It's gonna mess you up a lot. Make multiple copies and folders. It doesn't hurt. Like it saves everything on cloud. So if you wanna make a folder just for your paper and have your references in that folder, and also want to have them in some other cases. For example, if I'm working on metal 3D printing and one of the citations or one of the folders I need is applications of that particular method. So I have a folder for applications, I have all the papers in there. And then I also have a folder for the paper that I'm currently writing, and I also have a copy of some papers in there. So it doesn't hurt, add, it helps you organize things.
and you can even like put folders like subfolders if needed, like when I was doing my proposal, like different chapters, you can put them in different folders, and it's really helpful to organize it this way. Anything else to add? Okay, so that will be it for today, unless, let me see. One thing that you might want to just track, especially for the web pages, uh, if you save, let me see, uh, I don't know which web page. Just going to pick a random web page, see if I can reproduce one of the challenges that you may face. Okay, let's save it. No, not here. Let's save it in here. Okay. Okay, yeah. So for some of the web pages, when you save them, they might not give you this date. And this date is very important because if you don't have it, your citation is going to say NA, and the journals don't like that. And Dr. Press is probably going to call you out before even it goes to publication. So when you have this, you want to check this date. You want to go to the web page and see if they mentioned which day they published they write the article. If they have no date, that is fine. Just make sure you put as this date the day that you first visited the page. So what I usually like to do, I just like to copy the date accessed here and then just paste it here. Zotero will recognize it automatically as like a date format for you. So that's like a way to tell, okay, because sometimes some web pages, one day they're there, 2 weeks later they're not anymore. So you want to let them know exactly what day you access it. So even if it was not there anymore, they might be able to track it and see if that existed at that time. So yeah, that this is a very important point concerning referencing web pages. And for papers, like Apurv said, if you save it from the website, they will usually populate everything that you need. But if you do not, one thing that you want to make sure you have is the DOI. And if you have the DOI, just paste it in here. Zotero will be able to find those information for you. Only leave the DOI open for the paper if really you tried everything and you still cannot find it. Because some journals don't have DOIs, they have SSRNs. So if they do not have a DOI, that is not your fault. You just put it without the DOI. There are some of the international kind of shady journals that don't have it. So yeah, thank you guys very much. I will stop sharing my screen.